JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 24th of June 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session, or also Friday, the last Friday of this month. So yep, guys, welcome everyone. As always, we're gonna have a quick look at the markets, through the charts, but before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the chart, as always, just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFDbrokers.com website, and specifically the market news and analysis page, which I believe you can also find it useful. So yep, check us out here. Now, jumping into the charts, guys, the first one I want to pick up here is, it's Nikkei 225. Bear with me one moment. I think I need to make one little adjustment. Okay, all right, I'll do it later, that's fine. But anyway, coming back to Nikkei, right, okay, so we pushed above that 26,462 territory. We made a move higher, and yep, we stayed above it. So in a way, there is still a chance that we could see this one climbing a little bit more to the upside. However, as you can see yourselves, with the upside, there is a problem of having this 21-day EMA, then this 26,948 level, and of course the rest of the EMAs, which are the 100 and the 201. Now, one thing, of course, you have probably noticed yourselves as well, is that we might be in a range here. So we rebounded from the potential lower side of the range here, or the lower side of the potential range. I think this is a little bit more better way to say. But yeah, we have moved higher. But I would say if we really want to consider this maybe as a possible range, then maybe a push through the midpoint of this range could be a good indication that, you know, more buyers could join in. But of course, yeah, let's be very careful in this one. For now, it's just a theory, just an idea. But hey, we need to consider everything, I think. For now, from the very short-term perspective, yes, we managed to climb and stay above that 26,462 territory. Can we stay above it? If we can, then yes, I'll go for higher levels. But again, I'll take everything with a pinch of salt a little bit here, because this market changes very quickly. So yes, on one hand, I would like to see maybe this one forming a nice range here, but for that I would need to see this one maybe climbing through the midpoint of this potential range. But again, in terms of the downside, pretty straightforward. A drop below this 25,688 territory, somewhere around here, would be needed. Shanghai Composite, guys. So yes, after a brief visit below the upside line, sorry, I have to. Anke Me, good morning to you too. I mean, sorry, I missed that one, guys. I mean, I always try to say good morning to everybody. I mean, especially whoever makes a comment in the chat box. So yeah, good morning to everybody else, and everybody else who's joining in as well. So yeah, good morning, and good morning to Anke Me. So coming back to the charts, guys, so yes, we climbed back above this upside line. Okay, so that's good news, I could say, for the buyers. And this is one of those options, one of those moments where I said to you guys, even if we break the upside line, wait for a drop below this 3,263 territory. Well, look at this. I mean, we had a nice hold up here, and we had a nice rebound from that 100-day EMA, and we climbed back above this upside line. So, what could happen here next? I mean, of course, as I mentioned to you before, although we were back then we were trading above this upside line, I still needed a push above that 3,356 territory, somewhere around here, in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside, because a nice good pop above this barrier would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, potentially a next move towards that psychological 3,500 level could be possible. In terms of the downside, still the same level for me applies, the 3,263 zone. I need to see a nice good drop below it in order to go for lower levels. Evo, yep, good morning to you too. Good morning to everybody else who is also joining in. Now, the German index, DAX, guys. Okay, so this one drifted nicely to the downside. So basically the idea worked out, because what I kept on saying yesterday, that as long as we remain below this highlighted territory, we could continue, traveling lower. But if you're a little bit on the careful side, you could wait for a drop below the, at that time, the lowest point of June, near the 12,965 territory. We have drifted below that area. We created a new low, and to be honest, I mean, what I said before is that if we drop and stay below this area, then I will start slowly targeting that 12,672 mark, or even this lowest point of March. So yeah, let's see how this is going to play out. For the upside, I think that this level has to be adjusted, and there we go. We'll mark this high, the current highest point of this week, near the 13,443 territory, and I think that this level could become quite an interesting one to watch. If it pops above this, then yes, I will go higher. In terms of the cash index, by the way, on the German index DAX, we are currently trading at around 13,000 mark. So basically we're kind of oscillating around that psychological 13,000 area, and well, if you're, it doesn't really mean that we're getting positive again or something like that. No, for me, I will start, like I said, I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside on a break of this 13,444 level, but I'll start considering higher levels already on a break of this highlighted zone, which is between the 13,150 and the 200 levels. Now Nasdaq 100. So okay, so yesterday we pushed higher. We made a move north, but yeah, we found resistance near this 11,751 territory. So I've kind of mentioned this one recently, and well, we didn't really overcome that barrier. Now, however, if we take a look at the cash index, we'll see that the index is already above that hurdle and is moving towards that 21-day EMA. So in a way, it didn't work out, let's say, during trading hours, but it's working out after hours. So so yeah, it's pushing now to the upside. It's making its way higher. Let's see if we can reach that 21-day EMA, which is roughly around that 11,910 zone, or actually 11,918 zone right now. If we can reach that, that's going to be quite interesting, and if we overcome that, then that's going to be even more interesting, because then it opens up the path towards this downside line taken from the high of the 4th of April. For the downside, I will take I would like to actually wait just for a drop below the current lowest point of June, near the 11,037 mark, but could start already looking at some lower levels if let me just grab a line here. If we drop somewhere below this area, in the area between the 11,358 and the 11,423 zone. So let's keep an eye on that one, and again, like I said, for now the index is correcting higher, so let's see if we can test that 21-day EMA today, or this downside line. S&P 500, similar story, to be honest, also making its way to the upside. The cash index right now is making its way to the upside. We're currently sitting at around 3,823 level, above yesterday's close, but still below this barrier right here, the 3838, the one that I talked about. The one that I talked about previously. So a nice good push above this barrier may open the door towards that 21-day EMA or this 3,900 level, and then we will just kind of take it from there, guys. Now, in terms of the downside, the 3,646 level, that's what I'm keeping an eye on. This is probably the level from which I could become a little bit more comfortable with lower levels. So yeah, if we drop below it, then I will get a little bit more excited with the downside, because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low. The XY, the dollar index. So okay, so we broke this upside line. We kind of violated a few times, and it just showed that, well, it's not really worth it. Worth to keep this upside line here. However, I can reuse it, and I can draw something like this. Now, in a way, this what it means that maybe, just maybe, we are coiling up here, or we're part of a bigger coil. Let's see if we actually can drop below this. Actually, let me just adjust a few levels here. I think this is what I'm gonna mark here. That's the high of the low of this week. Yeah, there we go. So the current lowest point of this week is roughly around this 103.85 level. So a nice good drop below it may also actually place the index below the 21-day EMA. But again, let's be very careful on that one, because there is a little bit of room here. So it might drift below this 103.85 and then drop below, and then kind of stall near that 21-day EMA. So, well, like I said, the reason why I'm looking at this 103.85 is the fact that, yes, if a nice good break below this area would confirm a new low for this week. But then if we also clear the 21-day EMA, now that's where it could open up, the route towards some lower levels right there. For the upside, I need to see still I need to see that push above the 105 territory in order to get comfortable with the upside. Gold, okay, drifted lower, and look at this, beautiful hold up near this 1823 territory. So we've managed to, yeah, we're currently stalling there, but to be honest, I mean, this is not really looking good for gold here right now. However, I will be very careful, because at this point, all this, what's happening here, this is not really very attractive for me. I mean, this is way too tricky. Because look, I mean, it could still rebound, for example, from this 1823 territory and move higher and clear this 1848 level and then go higher, So again, we have seen, these massive reversals. For example, even here, let's say, it seemed like, yes, it could go higher. It was already breaking this 100-day EMA. And look at this. I mean, then we kind of a huge sell-off here the next day. So although the indication was before that, it was more to the upside towards this downside line, and we didn't really have much area to fill here, so it was quite logical that it could, go here towards this downside line. But there we go. The market had different plans here, and we had a huge sell-off. So, okay, so that's what I'm saying. So, although right now it does have an indication of of willingness to move lower. And I am a little bit more bearish than bullish, to be honest, but I'm taking everything with a pinch of salt here, and to be honest, I am probably, let's say, accepting the fact that, there could be some risks, and, your stop loss could be triggered. But if we do drop again and stay below that 1823 territory, somewhere below that, then, well, my next target is the 1807, and a nice good break below that hurdle may attract a few more sellers here. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now WTI oil, guys. Okay, so this one is drifting nicely to the downside, or should I say yesterday it drifted nicely to the downside. It's still oscillating around that 100-day EMA, and it still remains below that 105 territory. So what I said to you yesterday, that as long as we remain below that all area, then yes, I'll remain excited with the downside, because at the moment the market is not really going through the best times. I mean, of course, the inflation pressure is putting that spin on the market, and everybody's already a negative spin on the market, and everybody's talking about recession, that's the only way how to control the inflation, basically. So yeah, we need a recession in order to offset everything. So to be honest, I mean, I think that well, people keep on doing the same thing over and over, so markets are always cyclical. I mean, one way or another, yeah, still we repeat, and we don't learn from history. So yeah, we will see this happening over and over, you know, until we will walk the surface of this earth. So yeah, guys. So let's see how this is going to play out this time. How big of a, you know, economic problem we will have. But hey, this is something that, you know, you need to kind of probably prepare for. Evu, yeah, I can see there is a question. I'm short in gold since 1840, took half cash, but there's still a chance of going lower, but it's hard to see whether it moves up or just breathe. Okay, I'll quickly jump back and to answer that question, guys. Gold, in terms of gold, I mean, okay, so wonderful. I mean, if you're short from 1840, okay, that's great. Good result. I mean, good that you took, I would say, half of the cash. In here, like I said, it's still, there is potential for this one to move lower. The only thing is I strongly recommend right now, and of course, I mean, you probably have done it yourself already, just to kind of put your stop loss on a break even, you know, just in case it reverses. And if you think that, you know, you've missed out on other part of the cash, let's say if it reverses against you, don't. I mean, honestly, there are always opportunities. So, you know, and the most important rule, you know, in trading is don't be greedy, guys. I mean, just take whatever you can from the market, and that's already a success. If you manage to squeeze at least a euro, or at least a pound, or a dollar, or a yen, or whatever your currency trading in your account is. So if you manage to squeeze that, you know, out, that's great. That's wonderful. I think that that should be an achievement for you. So yeah, like I said, you can keep an eye on it. There is still potential for this one to move lower. And as I said, my target is the 1807. Maybe it could drop below that as well, but again, let's be very careful. If, let's say, DXY somehow maybe pushes to the upside here, then maybe gold could also, you know, drift further south. But if we take a look at the weekly chart, sorry guys, I'll just quickly look at this gold again. If we look at the weekly chart, for example, so there is still, I mean, the candle, the way it's forming, I'm wondering if it's not going to end up being something of a doji, like, you know, like we had a few weeks ago. So let's say, for example, if it pushes back up today and it forms a nice little doji for, you know, maybe for next week's bigger move or something like that. So keep that in mind. Let's say if I probably start seeing, jumping back into the daily, if I start seeing maybe this this commodity jumping back above somewhere this 1828 level, then yeah, maybe I will consider that for this week. I mean, the weekly candle might look as a doji. So basically that means that we would travel back here somewhere up. So yeah, could be an idea. Again, let's see how it works out, guys. Right. Okay, oil, I've mentioned XRP USD. I mean, I know I had this something I had to change here on the description. I wanted to look at XRP USD instead of LTC USD, but look at this. I mean, this is quite interesting. I mean, the Ripple is the one that is popping higher today. The more kind of, you know, the best performing one. Previously, when I talked about this one a while ago, I talked about this area right here, this 0.3755 level. I said that if we drop below it, then yep, we could go lower, and look at this. I mean, we made the move south here. We tested this hurdle, and we ended up finding support near the 0.2870, from which we have reversed, and we're now pushing above the 21-day EMA, and we have tested already this support barrier, which is now seen as a resistance. Yeah, if we climb above this, then we have the next target. The next resistance is the downside line taken from the high of the 28th of March. So yeah, I mean, if we break this downside line, okay, well, this, you probably understand what's going to happen further. Maybe we could see, you know, a push higher. But again, one thing to mention, that all other cryptos are right now a little bit lagging still. So it's just Ripple that's pushing to the upside. So maybe there are some news, I haven't checked, to be honest, on Ripple. Maybe there's some specific news that are driving this crypto higher. And yeah, maybe, you know, we could see this as only as a temporary kind of occurrence. So if we break the downside line, and I can see, if, let's say, if we see other cryptos picking up the pace, then yes, this is where, you know, it could lead to something more interesting. But at the moment, like I said, other cryptos are lagging a little bit, so that's why it's I'm being a little bit on the careful side here with the upside. Yes, it's a good move here, but you know, from just purely from the technical side, it could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, guys. So quickly into the pairs before I run out of time, guys. AUD JPY, just a quick update on this one. Here we go. We dropped below this upside line, but this is the moment. I said to you previously that I need to see also a drop below this this 92, 95 territory, somewhere around here, and so far this area is doing its job and providing good support. So I need to see a good drop below this in order to go lower. So far I'm not seeing that, so I'm just gonna, you know, observe the price action. This upside line can now turn into a downside line here. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that one. So basically that could, you know, help us out here later on when trying to kind of establish maybe a level for the upside, an area for the upside. But at the moment, let's see if this is not going to end up being something of a descending triangle pattern here. So something like this basically, and yeah, maybe it can move around here a little bit and then break out to the downside. But again, don't get me wrong, for such patterns, we still need to wait until we get a clear breakout through one of the sides of that pattern. So anything until then, in this area, it's neutral for me, so I'm just observing it. Although the descending triangle pattern is more of a bearish indication, then, but still, a confirmation breakout would be needed. And also, I would like to see the pair staying below it, not only having a false breakout like we had already, but also staying below it. Quick update on AUD and ZD, something that I'm also watching. So a while ago I looked at this one, if you remember, I said that if we drop below this 1.1028 territory, then yes, I'll go lower. We did move lower. My next target is the 1.0922. So we kind of traveled lower, kind of halfway, and then found some support around here. So around this 1.0966, we kind of rebounded, but failed to stay above the 21-day EMA and drifted back down. So that's why I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside. Still, this arrow for me is valid. So yeah, I mean, I'm still aiming for that 1.0922 territory, but I need to see a nice good drop below the 1.0966 level first. USD JPY fell below the highlighted territory, the one that I talked about. So at the moment, to be honest, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside on this one. Let's see if we can, you know, if we can stay below this highlighted territory. If we can, then my next target is the 21-day EMA, which is currently around the 133.08 level. USD CHF, guys. So also quick update. So this week I talked about this, and last week I talked about this, and I said that, well, let's wait and see, and let's see if this is not going to end up being something of a Double top pattern. Well, I mean, at the moment, yeah, it seems like it could be the case. But at the same time, what could be the case as well, if let's say if it drifts lower, finds support here near this 0.9545 level, and then rebounds and pushes higher, and then overcomes, let's say, gets back above somewhere above this 0.9764 territory, maybe this could end up being a range in general. So we should not exclude that scenario. For now, I'm just, like I said, I'm still aiming for this 0.9545 level. Although yesterday we came very close to it, but we didn't really touch it. So I think that I wouldn't. I normally sometimes I say that mission accomplished here, but this time, to be honest, mission was not really accomplished. So that's why I'm still kind of a little bit more bearish in terms of this pair, and I'm aiming for this 0.9545 level, unless it pops somehow strongly back above the 21-day EMA. GBP CAD, so bullish flag so far is working out. I mean, I talked about this pair from the beginning of this week, and yeah, so far it's so good, but to be honest, still a break of this downside line is needed. So yeah, yesterday we moved nicely to the upside. So kind of partially, the market seems to want to see this as a bullish flag, but we need that confirmation break. And I said before to you that I will get a little more comfortable with the upside on a push above the 1.60 territory. Not only on a break of this downside line, but also a push above this barrier right here. This way, the pair will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. GBP JPY, beautifully sitting above this upside line still, so that's good. We're still above this upside line taken from the low, the 12th of May. In terms of the downside now, a few levels have to be adjusted, and I think this has to go here somewhere. There we go. So for the downside, what I'm looking at here is I need to see a drop somewhere below this area. This actually not only this level, but I think it's going to be this whole area right there between the 164.32 and 164.66. A nice good drop below this, then yes, this is where it could become more interesting for a few more sellers. For the but as long as we stay above this upside line, guys, there is still hope that we could see a nice reversal here back to the upside. Euro NZD, so yesterday, beautiful tease. Look at this. I mean, beautiful false breakout, and boom, there we go. We're reversed back down, so that's why I keep on saying sometimes that, like I'm waiting for that pair to stay above this area above a certain area in order to get comfortable with further upside. And, well, we didn't get that stay yesterday, so we just kind of got that push, got that tease for more bulls to join in, and this is where probably some of the bulls got stopped out. So yeah, these things happen, unfortunately. Well, that's the market, so let's be very careful, guys. Here, I'm still kind of cautiously bullish, but I need that. I need to see the pair staying above this barrier near the 1.6842 zone. Euro CAD, very quickly on that one. Euro CAD also quite interesting. It seems to be like a bullish flag here as well. One bullish aspect here is that we broke this upside line, which, to be honest, was a tentative one, but hey, nevertheless, I kept it here. So we broke it. We've moved higher, and we're currently finding some resistance near this 1.3715 level. So if we nicely push through that barrier, then yes, I will go to the upside. This will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. EURUSD. EURUSD. Oh, by the way, with the EuroCAD, with the downside, for now, I'm keeping an eye on this hurdle. It might change, but at the moment, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this 1.3550. So a nice good drop below it may lead to some lower areas. The last one here, the EURUSD. I kept on talking about this one for probably 2 weeks now, but yeah, it's the same game plan. I need to see a clear breakthrough, one of these levels here, the 1.0636 or through a 1.0460. Until then, I'm just observing this one. I don't really like what's happening here right now, so I'm just keeping an eye on it. You could start drawing some downside lines, of course, yes. But at the moment, I mean, well, I mean, I can put this one on the chart here, but still, it doesn't make any difference because still, even if we break the downside line, it still needs to see a push above this 1.0636 level. So yeah. So let's keep an eye on that one. Okay, guys. Yeah, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for all your questions, comments, and in general for the activity. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. I hope, like I said, I hope you found this useful. If you want to catch me on Monday morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, have a wonderful trading day, guys. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Don't overtrade. That's most important, probably, from all of those. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And go into your weekend relaxed and chilled, and yeah, everything will be fine, guys. So let's catch up on Monday. Thank you very much, and bye bye.